Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 7. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload the video. Now, y'all, let's get into it. If we gonna get into it, honey, because this episode was good to me. I love when they come back from the honeymoons, y'all. I love it. Okay, and get to that shared apartment and the real starts kicking in. Child, let's get into it. Day 8 of marriage. So the couples are on their way back to San Diego, and Mitch actually said he's thankful for Kristen. Okay, progress. Ben says that they grew as a couple. Well, I mean, a liar and a big mouth usually grow together. Child, I'm just kidding. So they all start arriving to the shared apartments, right? Mitch and Kristen with the Y, and they're wearing matching shirts and whatnot. Okay. I would say that there's hope for them, but the last time we saw matching shirts would be Jasmina and Michael when they went to the retreat for the couples, and we see how that worked out. Moving forward. So Stacia and Nate, they going straight to the tub. Honey, this ain't Mexico. Y'all get up out that tub, child. Can't nobody fit in there but one of y'all at a time. So she's telling him, you know, already, there's no shoes when you walk through the house. And look, I am with her on that. Do you know how many nasty germs you traipse through a house when you walk with your outside shoes on? Honey, people be spitting on that ground and all kinds of stuff. Honey, absolutely not. Leave your shoes at the shoe rack at the door. So they go into the restroom and realize they have one sink, and Stacia is like, this one's mine because I want to put all my, my hair care products, just everything here, and you can have the drawer. He was like, dang, bossy. Yeah, it's looking like she real bossy, honey. The only thing he needs is a drawer, though, honey. All he needs is a place for his rubber bands for them braids, girl. So they lay down and they start talking about the do's and don'ts of the shared apartment. And he said, sometimes when he comes home from the gym, he goes straight to bed. Oh, absolutely. Now, y'all already know how my germophobia is set up. When I tell y'all I would have sat straight up in that bed like Chris from season 14 and said, today is my decision. Hell no. Absolutely not. When I tell y'all it would have been done, honey, you're done. Honey, we would have been absolutely over. Not you get in the bed after sweating and shedding skin at the gym. You gonna come get underneath my nice, clean comforter and my duvet and on top of my sheets? Oh, no, ma'am. Nate, absolutely not. Ben and Morgan. So they're talking and, they're talking about all the things that Ben does that cut corners. And Ben is like, yeah, I left pee in the toilet. And baby, I guess Ben said, honey, if it's brown, flush it down. If it's pee, let it be. These people are disgusting. The men on this season are disgusting, honey, and we're going to get into the further disgustedness of it all. Ben does not want the lights on before 6 p.m. Honey, he don't want you washing before 4 p.m. He wants everything unplugged that is not in use. Now, I do agree with the unplugging, okay, because it does save you a few coins, and if you ain't using it, unplug it, okay? I am there for that. But Ben, child, this is just ridiculousness. She gets up because she wants to take a shower, right, y'all? So she gets up and she gets to the restroom. He starts turning off every light in the place. Ben got it looking like a haunted house with every light off. Ben, that is ridiculous. Okay, that would be an automatic turn off for me. I'm not about to sit with candlelight visuals every night as we eat out of a can that we've warmed up with one of the lighters that you found at the local truck stop. Like, no, we work for a living. We will live like we work for a living. Ben, what is wrong with you? Kristen and Mitch. So they jump in the bed with Kristen's delusions, and she's telling him that she feels their real life is going to be great. She's like, I just feel like it's going to be so great. She's like, I just love that our marriage isn't perfect. I love that it has a few bumps, because I feel like I wouldn't like it as much if it was, just perfect right off the bat. And just keep repeating it, honey, until you believe it. Okay? Keep repeating the foolishness until it makes sense, because it absolutely makes no sense to me. Moving forward. So she's like, yeah, I'm just so happy about that. So he said, yeah, I'm digging our new life as well, with the matching shirts and whatnot. He's like, okay, I admit it. I'm corny. Okay, we're corny. I'm just going to sit in it. Okay, Mitch might be softening up now that he's not so anxious. Okay, because he was giving So anxious. Meet me at 11:30. Shout out to Genuine. Baby, he was getting so anxious on that honeymoon, honey. He had to call his brother. Look, I don't like her like that. I don't know why, but I just don't. She's beautiful and she makes 5 times more than me, but I don't like her like that. Okay, I want to kick cans on the beach with somebody that don't brush their teeth or wash their face. I don't like her like that. Alexis and Justin. So they're talking about the dogs, right? And how they're, concerned about the dogs getting along and getting to know each other. And, so they're talking about that. So Alexis is like, so nothing about your dog? He's like, well, it takes, her a little bit to warm up to somebody, when they're brand new, so it's just, that's my only concern. Just them, kind of like getting along. And, it's really no biggie. That's the only concern. Well, that didn't age well. Moving forward, Miguel and Lindy. So they're talking about Lindy's cat, Tweety, and Miguel is like, I'm allergic to cats. Shout out to Eric, season 12. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, do you take Benadryl? He said, no, I just avoid cats. So she's talking to him, right? She's starting to freak out. Now, Miguel, you already know how Lindy is. Why are you playing with her? She starts freaking out, and she's like, well, wait a minute. What are we going to do? He's like, no, I'm just kidding. Ooh, child, that was a close one. So then they start talking about decision day, and she's like, that's a trigger word for me, right? He, on the other hand, wants to talk about it because he wants to be realistic. He did say that he's not looking for an out. He's like, listen, I'm not looking for an out. Disagreements will come. From my point of view, we know that there is decision day, right? Like, we have to see at the end of the day if we can be happy with each other and truly, make this marriage work. So, Lindy's sitting there looking like doom and gloom. And she's like, it's just a trigger for me. Lindy, decision day is the reality of this situation. I know it makes you nervous, but eventually you're going to have to talk about it. Saying it's a trigger word makes absolutely no sense. The show is about making a decision at the end of the day. Child is going to be a fool. Day 9 of marriage. So Stacia is up bright and early, hoping not to fall in the toilet, honey, because Nate left the seat up. Lindy and Miguel are in bed, and she finds out that she snores. On over to Alexis and Justin. So they're on their way to her house, right? Because now we're going to each and every person's home to see how they living. Okay. So they're on the way to her house and she's showing him around. She shows him these pictures of her silhouette. And so she picks up this makeshift vagina. What is happening? Girl, what is this? I'm like, what is happening? So then she shows him her closet and he's exaggerating. Like, oh my gosh, I get lost and there's too many clothes. She just got a lot of clothes, honey. You're going to be fine. On over to Stacia and Nate. Child, Nate has never seen an actual place with furniture, so he's doing this. Oh, dang, this is nice. Is this marble? Is this granite? Yes, Nate, this is a real kitchen. More than Hot Pockets are being made in here. Hot Pocket. Child, this is a mess. So then they go to her room, right? And she has it staged. He's like, did you do this for me? She's like, no, I do this every day. He's like, what? Oh, okay. So in the confessional, he was like, yeah, she's a little bit extra. When you're single, you zhuzh up your place. I ain't gonna lie and say my place doesn't look staged, because it does. But it's also lived in because I have a 7-year-old. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. So her having that thing on the bed, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. It seemed pretty normal if you ask me. So they make their way to the kitchen and she tells him that she wants an espresso machine. She's like, yeah, it's $700. He's like, oh, okay, well, let's break down the math. Okay, 1 + 3, carry the 1, divide by 4, multiply by the number of times she gonna go. Okay, I got a cash app of that day. Okay, that would be $2,400. She was like, okay, well, then if it's $2,400 over here and this is only $700, then it's a good investment. He was like, but what about this and what about that? She was like, okay, add another $300 for the sugar and the beans and the whatnot. He was like, so, you know what? Let's just sit down. I want to get an Excel spreadsheet. I just really want to see if this is a good investment. Sir, if you broke, just say that. Okay? I can't stand a cheap man. It is okay to invest in an espresso machine if you drink coffee all the time so that you don't have to stop at Starbucks every chance you get. Common sense will tell you it's a sound investment. Child, she's like, it's $2,400 versus $700. He's like, well, we'll just do a little bit more math. Child, okay. Mitch and Kristen. So they go to Mitch's house. Child, y'all come closer. Okay, whatever your listening device is, put your ear a little bit closer. Y'all listen to this. They go to Mitch's house. It's giving very much Laguna Beach in the ghetto. And he shows her the tub in the restroom. Y'all, I am disgusted. Okay, when I say disgusted, he's like, yeah, it's dirty because, I clean my plants in it. Well, after you clean your plants in it, do you clean it out? Like, this is just nasty. Do you clean your body in it as well as your plants? Child, this is just gross. So then he takes her to the kitchen to show her the white stove filled with every stain and piece of food that he's ever eaten. Mitch just nasty. Nasty. Okay? This is the reason you are celibate, as Alexis would say, because you're nasty. You got the nerve to be speaking about attraction with the most important things in your house looking like that? That tub just sent me over the edge, y'all. Oh, that tub sent me over the edge. Kristen, you gonna need shower shoes to ever step foot in that house. How do you care about the environment but not the environment in which you live every day? Kristen, in her confessional, she was like, oh, okay, I will never be back here again. Like, never. Kristen, ain't you glad you haven't been to Pound Town yet? Mitch doesn't even have a clean space to bathe. Oh, Mitch, where you live? Put your shoes on. Let's go find you a home. Honey, looking at this house, I was in tears almost. It was so nasty. Y'all, there was mold. I was like, Mitch, now you knew that they were inviting cameras into your space. At 40 plus years old, you and your thong sandals should have went in there and got one of your environmentally safe cleaning products and cleaned that damn tub. That is disgusting. Okay, the tub nasty, the stove nasty, and it's got to be a roach or two in there. It's got to be. You can't tell me he left, had a whole marriage, but then you have enough nerve to get mad about your beard being too short, but your stove looking like that? The stove is nasty. You left for an entire honeymoon for 1 whole week, and you mean to tell me that the roaches did not move in? Oh, baby, honey, he would have to shake all that stuff out before he came anywhere with me. Oh, child, that's just disgusting. Miguel and Lindy. So Miguel comes in. Miguel, I see you have burglar bars and whatnot. And child, it's cleaner than Mitch's place so far. Child, Miguel has leftover bacon grease. Honey, it's giving Southern grandma. When I tell y'all my grandma stayed with some bacon grease on that stove. And don't act like y'all don't know, honey. If y'all got some people in the South, you know a grandma gonna have her some grease, some bacon grease on that stove. Look, Lindy said, is this bacon grease? It's so bad for your heart. He's like, yeah, I cook with it sometimes. She said, okay, I will not be partaking in the bacon grease cooking of it all. Okay, keep that to yourself. So he goes straight to the Dungeons and Dragons playbook. Child, he couldn't wait. He said, Lindy is very accepting of me. I don't feel crazy showing her who I am or anything because she doesn't want me to feel stifled. She wants me to be myself. And I feel like that's a plus that she allows him to be himself because that allows him to not be so rigid because Lindy is just basically go with the flow. So he feels comfortable with her. Ben and Morgan. So Ben goes to Morgan's apartment. Morgan's espresso machine looks just like Mitch's stove. Nasty. Okay. So Ben looks at the espresso machine, right? He's like, ooh, that looks like a lot of electricity. Oh, he would get on my nerves. He would get on my nerves, honey. And don't let Stacia see that espresso machine, Morgan. Go on in there and hide it. If she see that machine and Nate will not let her have one, child, it's going to be a whole fool. Morgan also has a cat. Okay, so we know Lindy has Tweety and Morgan has a cat as well. So Ben is like, is the cat going to pee on my shoes or my equipment? What about my clothes? Like, does the cat just pee anywhere? Does he pee in a specific place? She's like, why are you so concerned about my cat? He has a litter box. He pees there. He's like, well, do we pee in sync? Ben, you are giving a little weirdo. You're giving immature little weirdo. It's giving frat boy that ain't never been nowhere, that's never been outside of his mom's home or anywhere else. You're getting on my nerves. Okay? Are y'all gonna pee in sync? He's like, when girls get their cycle, they're in sync. Like, are we all gonna pee at the same time? Because I had dogs and like they would just go on their own. Like, does he go on his own or do we have to take him? Or being, oh my God, child. Let's move on. Mitch and Kristen with the Y. So now they're at Kristen's place. Kristen's apartment is definitely an efficiency. The bed is in the kitchen and whatnot. Y'all gonna need to get a new place if y'all gonna stay together. Yours is too small and his is too dirty. It's giving Goldilocks and the Three Bears, honey. This is a fool. This bed is too soft. This bed is too hard. And this bed is just right. So y'all gonna need to find an apartment that's just right, because yours is too small and his is too nasty. Moving forward. So her dog Luna is there. Hey, Luna. And she's telling Mitch that, he has to clean Luna's rolls because, things get stuck underneath her rolls like food and stuff like that. She was like, yep, my dog snores. He has asthma. He heavy breathes. He's just a mess. It's okay, girl. All the dogs up and through this season are a mess, child. And we're going to get to that in a minute. So she was asking him if there's anything surprising about her place. And he's like, yeah, the dog and the heavy breathing. Mitch, I know you didn't. You got your nerve to say something is surprising. What's surprising to me is somebody so snobby and so judgmental about another person's attraction having a filthy tub with mold surrounding it and a stove that looks like it belongs in a horror movie. Child, anywho, moving forward. So she was like, yeah, the heavy breathing is something. She's just heavy breathing because she's nervous. Well, honey, at least one of y'all heavy breathing. Stacia and Nate. So Nate is showing his Airbnb. No, I'm just kidding. He rented it for the show. No, I'm just kidding, child. I'm just kidding. He's showing his place. And it's nicer than I expected it to be. I got to give him that. It's nicer than I expected. Stacia sees his closet and the rest of his place. And she's like, ooh, this is dusty. This is gross. This is empty. This is expired. Child, she is going in on this place. Stacia, he is a bachelor. They live on ramen and takeout. Be happy he even has oatmeal, okay? Because I don't know no bachelor that's just going out buying the oatmeal of it all. Why are you coming in this way? Baby, she discovered those wine glasses, and they looked like they had a little bit of red wine left in them. And she's like, oh, there's two. I guess maybe he was having someone over for wine. Yeah, he was, Megan, as they watched the sunset from the view in his apartment. Moving forward. Child, you nitpicking Nate's place. You better be glad you didn't get Mitch. You would have gone into cardiac arrest because his place is disgusting. And you told him no shoes in the house. Meanwhile, you got to stomping in your Air Force Ones all over his bed. Girl, if you don't go, take your shoes off as well. Girl got these so I can get to stomping in my Air Force Ones. Child, you got them shoes all in the bed. Stacia, take them shoes out that bed, girl. Moving forward. I'm gonna have to say this. Stacia was working my nerves in this scene because I feel like, girl, just calm down. It really wasn't that bad. Like, stop judging him. It's actually better than I thought it was gonna be. And I don't want you to start getting on my nervous system, Stacia, because I kind of like you now. Okay, I like your independence. I like that you're not what people think you would be based on everything that you've achieved. But honey, don't just come in tearing the man down. There are things that everybody can work on. You're in a marriage, Justin and Alexis. So Alexis is still speaking prematurely in her confessional, talking about marriage isn't hard. Like, where's the hard? Girl, give it a minute. So they're at Justin's place. And when they walked into Justin's place, I looked down and I looked up for a second, so I didn't realize they were at Justin's place. I thought it was her place at first with the paintings on the wall and everything. It was very reminiscent. So she comes in and she sits down and she's like, we're in the kitchen, bedroom, living room all at once. Ma'am, that's rude. Okay, it's rude as hell. She was like, I just couldn't see myself living here. If I came back to his place and we were out on a date, I would say, okay, I'ma head out. Not on the man you love, sis. Not the one that had you grinning and skinning all up and down in Mexico. See, this is why I knew. I knew it. I knew it was a honeymoon haze. I knew it. Alexis is starting to peek through. The representative is still on the beach in Mexico. Moving forward. So they get back to the shared apartment, y'all, with the animals. Okay. Now, mind you, nobody has hopped on the Googler to try to figure out how to introduce these pets. Nobody. So immediately upon entering the space, Alexis is like, how do we introduce the dogs? Okay, that's when I would have said, you know what, just wait one second. Because my baby's small and your baby's big. So let me just see how we introduce the dogs. Ben is trying to hop on YouTube to see how to show affection. So y'all couldn't hop on YouTube to see how to introduce a dog? Child, we're going to get to Ben in a minute, but let's stick to this. Justin was like, I guess you just let them get used to each other. They're going to be fine. So as soon as she unleashed the dog, mind you, it's 2 dogs and a cat. So everybody's just intermingling. Okay. It's giving Tom and Jerry. So as soon as she puts down the dog, Justin's dog starts scowling. He's like, "Arr." So immediately upon hearing that, I would have got my dog. I would have been like, okay. Come on, Maya, come on. I would have gotten my dog because the dog is already growling. And Justin, you hear the dog growling. So therefore, and thus and such, get your damn dog and put him away. So Justin is telling them, yeah, just go around each other, get to know each other. It's going to be your little brother. Yeah. All of a sudden, the big dog, which is Justin's dog, attacks the little dog, which is Alexis's dog. And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, what happened? He said, nothing happened. Okay, now this is the part that pissed me off. Because Justin, why did you lie? Clearly something happened. Her dog would not be screaming if nothing happened. Like, I know you're afraid that she's not going to like you anymore. So any little thing that you do, you feel like it could be grounds for termination. But baby, don't lie to me and tell me that nothing's wrong. Because that's going to make me, see, this is what it's going to make me feel like. That would make me feel that if I left my dog alone with you, because, they already had stated that Justin works from home. So if I leave my dog, okay, and I feel like I don't have to pay for the doggy daycare anymore of it all, and I leave my dog at home with Justin and his dog, anything could happen and you would lie to me. Did anything happen to the dog today? Oh, no, it's fine. A big chunk of hair is bitten out of my dog's behind. So I didn't like the fact that he lied in that moment. Like, just keep it real. So Alexis picks him up and sees that his eye is bitten and it's bloodshot red, right? And it's like blood. So she calls to see where she can take him. She calls the vet. So she asks production. She's like, can I close the door? Because I need to change my clothes. So their mic is still hot and you can hear them talking. And he's like, can I go with you? She's like, no, I'm good. You know how I feel about Newton. Like, why would you lie? He's like, yes, I'm sorry. I'm hurt. Like, I just want to go. Justin, right now, we don't want the wet eyes. Okay? We don't want to hear all that crying and hooping and hollering, honey. Let's just get the baby to the vet, honey. We need to get the dog to the vet so we can make sure that the dog is okay. Now, I will say in this moment, I'm not liking how Justin lied real quick. Okay, so she wouldn't get mad. I don't like that. Releasing all those animals that aren't even familiar with each other at once was not the move. Both of you should have known better. You keep hollering, Newton is my baby, he's my baby. I'm going to protect mine at all costs, no matter what is being said. So you should have also researched how to introduce the dogs. Don't just put it on Justin. And Justin, you shouldn't have lied. Moving forward, Stacia and Nate. So they get a visit from Pastor Cal. It's time for his rounds. Hey, sir. Stacia happy as hell. She was so happy to see Pastor Cal. He's like, you guys look good together. Of course, they're related. Allegedly. So he asked what the goal of their marriage is. And he said, to be on the same page, to be a power couple. And she said to be financially free. So Pastor Cal asked Stacia how she felt about his salary. And she was like, it's workable. Is it? Child, I couldn't wait to hear what that salary was. Okay. And I'm happy that they are finally talking about finances up front so we can get into it as we get into it. And we don't have to wait until later. Shout out to Steve and Noy. So she said that he exceeded the number that she set. Now, when she said that, I was thinking, we heard that before with Noy asking for $40,000. Child, I thought that was so crazy. Noy, and what happens when the $40,000 runs out? Child, but that's a whole nother season. Let's continue. So Nate was like, I make $150,000 a year, but I want to make $250,000. He's like, I just want to be able to provide anything for the kids. If they need school, I got this. If they need this, I got that. So she's like, well, I don't understand why we couldn't have kids because the subject came up of them having children. And he said the reason why he's not, just jumping to have children right away is because he's not making the amount of money per year that he would like to make. So she was like, well, I make $415,000 a year right now. So what else? Like, what else is going on? Baby, not almost $500,000 a year. Paula ting ting. Nate was like, oh, okay. Pastor Cal is telling him that he's thinking only about him and she's thinking about the two of them. I feel like we don't need to be talking about kids right now. Like we're 9 days in this thing. Let's just take our time. And, Stacia is picking everything apart and I can see some cracks starting to show. So let's not involve the children until we know absolutely for sure that we're going to be able to work through some things. So Pastor Cal was like, well, y'all are touching, so that's good. And she was like, yeah, we're very, affectionate. I just don't want to have sex until I fall in love. So he's like, well, how will you know when you fall in love? She's like, when I can't get enough of you. Like when I'm always thinking about you and anything that you do, I just kind of overlook it because, I love you. So Pastor Cal said, so you aren't there yet? No, Pastor Cal, they're not there yet. Pastor Cal be getting on my nerves. Like, I know the people like him, but sometimes he gets on my nerves. Sir, it's been 9 days. They are not there yet. They're not there. Justin and Alexis. Alexis tells us that the dog is okay. She has to wear a neck brace. Justin's dog is going away for 2 weeks just to get some training. And so they show Alexis and Justin talking about it later that night, right? And she was like, I'm afraid that your dog might attack me. Like, I'm just afraid that Maya might attack. And he's like, I'm like stuck between a rock and a hard place because I love you and I love her. So then we see Justin ride in the car, right? He's taking the dog to this training camp. He's like, yeah, I mean, I love my dog and I love Alexis. I'm doing this to save my marriage. So production asks Justin, what if you had to give up Maya permanently? He's like, I don't even want to speak that into existence. Like, I don't even want to manifest that. Oh my gosh. I feel bad for all parties involved. Neither one of y'all researched how to introduce those dogs. They just threw them in there. And child, I know he did not want to purposely hurt her dog. I know that is not his intent. He did not think we're going to put these dogs together and they're going to hurt each other. He didn't think that. But at the same time, any good dog parent would feel uneasy after that initial aggression from your dog. So, I mean, I understand both sides. But I don't see how he could just drop his dog off with those strangers, honey. Ooh, child, this is a mess. I don't think him giving up his dog should be the answer. And people be abusing dogs, and honey, they look like a little jail. It didn't look safe. I wouldn't be able to do it. I just wouldn't be able to do it, honey. I would have to put the dogs in separate rooms, or one of them would have to sleep on the balcony or something. But I couldn't take my dog. No, I would take my dog to training class every single day until he gets his certificate, okay? And he graduates. But I am not taking my dog to this kennel and this trainer. And the trainer looked like he had on Michael Myers shoes. It was giving Halloween. I'm just scared. I'm just scared, honey. Oh, I didn't like that. It ain't no way I could take my baby to that place. Oh, child. That had my nervous system bad, honey. And I'm about to bring my dog back, honey. So for all of y'all that didn't like my dog on the desk, the dog is coming back, okay? Minx is making a reappearance. So if you didn't like it, I'm sorry you didn't like it, but it's coming back. Moving forward. Miguel and Lindy. So he shows up with flowers for his bride. And so they're in the shared apartment. They start making dinner, having fun. She's telling him that she misses him. And, when he went to work, because y'all know Lindy ain't did no work all day long. Okay. She's just sitting up waiting on Miguel to get home. So Miguel was like, when I met you, I was looking for a reason. She was like, you still looking for a reason, honey, and is. He was like, no, but I feel like you won me over. So Lindy in her confessional, she was like, I'm just so proud of myself because of how far Miguel has come. At first he was talking about, just being happy about the 8 weeks. But now, like, girl. Lindy was like, I just don't feel like we should say the word D-Day. Like, I don't like that word. He said, okay, you know what? Let's call it Vow Renewal Day. Oh, Lindy must have put it on him, honey. Put him on to make him want to marry me. Baby, she must have put that thing on him. So they start eating dinner, spaghetti, courtesy of Miguel. And they're talking about how they feel about each other, right? And he was like, I just feel like you have that certain je ne sais quoi. That certain zhuzh. It's just, I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but it's something. So she was like, I just really love that you're so transparent with me. Like, I don't have to guess what you're feeling or what you're thinking. You're just so transparent. Okay, Lindy, right here in this moment, you're saying that you like the fact that Miguel is so transparent and whatever he's thinking, he lets you know. Later on in the episode, that is the exact same thing you tell him not to do. Lindy, you're working my nervous system, honey. My central nervous system. Moving forward. Ben and Morgan. So Pastor Cal is there and he asked about the honeymoon. And so she tells him about NurseGate. And she's like, I have an associate's degree. I am an RN, but I was going to get my bachelor's. So, whatever. And Ben was like, okay, the bottom line is I overreacted. She was like, yeah, we promised not to talk about finances. And that's the first thing that he did was talk about finances. So Ben said, that he should have asked her if he could talk to someone else first before talking to Justin. So, I just want to ask, okay, I'm going to ask the collective. So we just going to ignore the fact that she lied? Are we going to ask her why she lied? Or we just going to skate on past that and just go in on Ben? Okay, we going to skate on past. Oh, we going to skate on past. Okay, cool. Moving forward. So Pastor Cal asked about the trust, and she's like, it's just hard to let people in once the trust is broken. But you know what? I ain't got time. So Pastor Cal asks, what happened for you not to let people in? So she starts to get emotional, and she started to talk about her dad lying to her. Like, he said he would do certain things and then he wouldn't do it. So that made her feel uneasy. And so now it's hard for her to trust people and take them at their word. So he asked her how it felt for Ben to just apologize. And she said it felt good. He said, well, him apologizing should allow you to trust him. He doesn't want that to infringe on them building, a solid relationship. He's like, you have to trust that he's going to do the right thing. He did, in fact, apologize to you. So she was like, if I can't trust him with my feelings, then how can I trust him with my body? Because they started talking about sex. And he said, I wish I had a time machine and I would go back and do things differently. I wish I had a time machine. Maybe Ben said he wish he had a time machine. Basically, the gist of this little session, Pastor Cal did give some, a few great trinkets to Morgan so she could let other people in and let her wall down, because he asked what would it take to let that wall down. Basically, Ben begged for affection and forgiveness, and she said, okay, he can touch me again since he's apologized profusely. I was just like, Morgan, did the man cheat on you, or did he say something he shouldn't have said? Because, baby, if you shut him out for that little bit of mess, then I can only imagine when something big happens. Child, she might pack up and move out of the shared apartment. He's like, okay, I got you. I can do that. So Pastor Cal is like, no, she's not your homeboy, because he tapped her, basically. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to YouTube what to do, like as far as, affection is concerned. He's not interested in Morgan. Why do you need to go to YouTube University to give affection? He's not interested in Morgan. I already knew he wasn't when he continues to describe her as cool. So what's going on with Morgan? I mean, she's cool. She's cool. He's not interested. Absolutely not. I don't feel he should have to grovel for forgiveness. Okay, that's just my opinion. They're strangers at the end of the day. He didn't know what to do. He was given this information. Things are new. I don't know. Maybe I'm, a part of the unpopular opinion. But to me, I feel like Morgan was just milking the apologies and making him suffer. That's what it was giving me. Like, I'll teach you to go against me. When in the beginning, you should have just been honest. But Ben, house business is house business. If I tell you something, that's for me and you. Not for me, you, your mama, and your cousins too. Moving forward. Morgan, the man, said sorry, okay? Allow him grace this one time, just like he gave grace to you when he found out you lied about whatever it is you put on that questionnaire, honey. Grace is needed all the way around. Stacia and Nate. So they're talking about their visit from Pastor Cal, and she's like, I just feel like I'm sharing so many intimate things and you're just being surface level. She's like, I feel like you're not saying much to me. You said you didn't feel love from your mom, but that isn't enough. Like, why? How? Like, give me more. So he was like, I don't have any emotional attachment to my mom, so I can't tell you anything that I don't feel. And she's like, no, I need more. He said, I'm going to share with you when I feel more, but I don't have it. She's like, well, can you give me anything now? Stacia, give it a minute. Okay, now I'm starting to see what you mean by when the men get to know you, they be like, nah, I'm good. Okay, give it a minute. Okay, please give it a minute. The honeymoon is barely over. So I'm not understanding why you're just harping on the man all of a sudden, just out of the blue. Give him a moment to feel comfortable with you. It's giving Jasmina and Michael. I need you to open up more. I need you to tell me everything that ever hurt you from kindergarten until now. Like, give it a minute. Moving forward. Mitch and agreeable Kristen with the Y. So they're eating dinner that she cooked, and she's like, I don't have any complaints about you. I just love this. I love everything, especially making you dinner. And he's like, well, yeah, it's a win for me. Yeah, you and your little thong sandals. And don't think I didn't see him when you went to Kristen's apartment, and you ain't fooling me. He was back in them thong sandals, child. So she asked if he's ever been in love. And he's like, not in the mature adult way. Well, honey, looking at that apartment, of course not. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, I fall fast and, I fall hard and deep. And that may be a problem, Kristen. Slow down and allow things to organically develop. It's almost like she's trying to prove to herself into the world that he's attracted to her. I'm going to make him attracted to me. Like, just calm down. So after they eat dinner, they sit down on the couch, right? And she presents him with a gift. I'm trying to figure out what he did to get a gift. Probably her thanking him again for telling her that she's unattractive. So here we go. So she gives him this card, and then she gives him this jar full of coupons, right? One of the coupons says, 1 free bubble bath with your wife expires tonight. Girl, that's so thirsty. Girl, that is so thirsty to me. And listen, there is no way I would be presenting him with any coupons except some for some spick and span or some for some Mr. Clean or something for him to clean that nasty tub. Other than that, okay, if it's not a P&G coupon, I would not be presenting him with nothing to get in no tub with me. She's like, if things get steamy, like we can go all the way. Like, what do you think about that? Crickets. I would be so embarrassed. He's like, I'm at a loss for words like I am most times that we're together. Kristen, stop this. Okay, stop it. Just stop. This ain't cute, honey. This is not cute. He does not want this. You can tell. He was put on the spot. There are cameras here. You gave him this coupon. You done fed him. Child, this is just too much. Child, Mitch got that chest out. I was like, child, not this little chest, honey. Kristen keeping him liquored up. He got wine in his hand. Child, this is just a mess. She's like, did you like my gift? He said, yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So he getting ready to close the door and put the dog out, right? And the dog looking like, child, don't threaten me with a good time, honey. I've been kicked out of better. So the dog is leaving. He's like, yeah, I don't want everybody to see me naked. Mitch, thank you. Thank you. Keeping your clothes on and keeping that door closed is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you so much. Child, at least the coupon is for a clean tub. I guess let's look at the bright side. I don't know. Child, let's look at the bright side of it, honey. Day 11 of marriage, Miguel and Lindy. So Pastor Cal comes over. He's like, how is it going? And Lindy is like, it's great. We're having so much fun. It's funners. Meanwhile, they're so far apart that Lindy should go ahead and be on Zoom in Stacia and Nate's apartment. I said, why are y'all sitting so far apart? The body language is giving the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Like, it's giving a lie. So Lindy is saying everything is good. And she's like, I just want to see how things go when we aren't in agreement. All right, now. Zach said that same thing. Y'all remember last season? Well, season 13, where he was like, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like when we get into an argument. He said all that, and Michaela tore up that recreational space. Stop asking for the arguments. They will come when they come. So Pastor Cal was like, don't welcome conflict. Thank you. Now that's a word. Okay, please do not get excited about fighting. Like, what is happening? So then they talk about what each expects from the marriage. And Lindy said, if Miguel isn't feeling her, don't tell her. Now, didn't she just say, y'all, that she loves the fact that he's transparent and everything that he's feeling, she doesn't have to guess because he will tell her. But she gets in front of Pastor Cal and she says, if you're feeling this, don't tell me. Why? Why wouldn't you want to know that? Now, me personally, I would want to know. So Miguel was like, I've been known as a doormat and I keep it all bottled up. And then when I'm done with the person, they're like, well, why didn't you not just tell me that? Like, why did you keep it all bottled up? I can see that. Okay, I can really see that. I don't feel you should have to keep, quiet. I don't feel like you should have to do that. So Pastor Cal tells him he needs to reevaluate his feelings before he speaks. And she's like, if you feel like you're not feeling me, don't tell me, because then you might be feeling me by the end of the night and we just had an argument or whatever. Like, don't tell me about the feelings that are lost. Just don't tell me. He's like, I can't promise you that. If he doesn't say yes, y'all, Lindy is going to fall the hell apart. Okay, she gonna fall apart. Moving forward, Mitch and Kristen. So Pastor Cal visits their clean shared apartment. The dog walked up to Pastor Cal, right? Pastor Cal gonna say, aw, a face only a mother could love. Child, the dogs on this episode are getting hell. Do you hear me? Not Pastor Cal shading this dog, honey. Anyway, so he asked how things are going. And she's like, I just can't believe how much I love this marriage. We consummated the marriage. Child, she couldn't wait to tell us that. Girl, that don't mean nothing, okay? Paige and Chris consummated the marriage as well. And we see how that turned out. So Pastor Cal asked if they're making future plans. And she's like, no, Yeah, maybe for next week, but not outside of the 8 weeks. Okay, so you're in a rush for him to tell you that he loves you and to go to Pound Town before the 8 weeks, but you're not thinking about outside of the 8 weeks. So are you here for a good time or a long time? Like, I'm not understanding what you're talking about. So she was like, I just don't want to wake up and he's on a train to Tijuana. I think he may be on his way on a skateboard to Tijuana because the carbon footprint of a train might be a little bit too much for the planet. But either way it go, he gonna be in Tijuana, honey. You ain't got to worry about that. So they are talking about the pressure on Mitch. She's like, I just feel like I don't want to put pressure on him. I just really don't. Everything is about how Mitch feels and what Mitch needs. Does Kristen matter? Does Kristen exist? I'm just trying to figure out. So then they talk about kids. No matter what they talk about, Mitch is not interested. Okay? I'm looking at his facial expression as Pastor Cal speaks. He's not interested. He's a commitment phobe, and sex has not changed anything. The look on his face says it all. So Pastor Cal said, Mitch, you look troubled. And is? He said, I'm just hearing you talk about love being a choice. And I'm like, it's been a week. Pastor Cal shouldn't even be speaking to these people about love at 9 days. And how can he not see that this between the two of them ain't it? Just because they had sex, see, that's what making me mad about Pastor Cal. He's always concerned about whether or not they've consummated the marriage. Just because they had sex does not mean it's all good in the hood. His tub is dirty. His refrigerator's dirty. His stove is dirty. He acting dirty. I don't like it. I don't like it. These two are basically sitting in each other's laps, and she had to trick him into the tub and into the bed. Meanwhile, Lindy is talking about having Miguel and everything is so perfect and they're social distancing. This episode gave me pure confusion. When I tell y'all I'm so confused. Moving forward. Kristen is forcing all of this. I would be Sahara Desert down there for a man that only touched me after a shot of tequila. He said you were unattractive. I can't get past that. I just can't get past it. Alexis and Justin. So Pastor Cal brings up the dogs. Poor Newton and his little brace, honey. Alexis is dressed in blue to match his little brace. And Alexis tells Pastor Cal that Justin didn't tell her that his dog had been getting into several fights. Here go Justin. Well, they were antagonizing my dog. It wasn't really my dog's fault. They was antagonizing my dog. Justin, okay? Those are things that you should have disclosed. She feels like he purposely withheld those things, and that makes her want to go back to her old ways. Girl, you just want to be introduced back into the street for a dog fight? Girl, if that's the case, then nobody will be together on Married at First Sight, honey. The dogs will fight. Y'all did it all wrong. It's not just on Justin. It's on you as well. So Justin starts crying because he feels like a crappy owner. He feels like, he should have gotten her training earlier because it could cost him his marriage. Well, I'm telling you right now, Justin, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. That jail wasn't it. Just put them in separate spaces because I could not put my dog in there. I just couldn't do it. So Pastor Cal is telling him it's okay. I know you're an empath and you feel things really heavy and deeply. People make mistakes. Well, honey, you might need to be giving this speech to Alexis. She's the one that's holding a grudge and holding it over his head. And that's going to make him not feel as secure in his marriage because this is the thing. I feel like Justin is going to have to walk on pins and needles around Alexis because any little thing that he does, she going to be on the first thing smoking. So now he's uneasy and he's probably going to lie just so she doesn't get mad, just like he did tonight. Anyway, she was like, yeah, I just feel like he needs to overshare. Tell me everything. So of course he agreed. And she was like, what I need is for his dog to go away. If he doesn't change. So he's hesitating a little. And he's like, we'll see. She's like, I thought the decision had been made. Ma'am, you cannot expect him to just give up his damn dog. What if this doesn't work? Which is looking like it might not. But this dog is the one constant in his life. No, ma'am, honey. Marriage is about compromise. He should not have to give up his dog just because you're unhappy. She was like, in her confessional, Justin is just not being 100% honest. And if he's not, then I'm not going to stay anywhere where I don't feel safe. I won't be with Justin. Girl, that honeymoon dust done wore off and you saw that apartment and now the dog and you are looking for an out. And Justin lied because he got nervous because, the other one packed up, folded up, and left. So he's afraid that you may do the same thing. But it's not fair to make him the scapegoat because you don't know if you're sure about this marriage. The dog thing can be corrected. Justin, you better not get rid of your dog because of her. He's just as important as her dog. He just needs a little training. And that was the end of the episode. Child, this episode was good, honey, and the season looks like it's going to be a little bit spicy. Honey, next episode going to be good as well. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. What did you think about the whole dog thing? Do you think Justin should have to give up his dog? Do you think Alexis was being a little bit too hard on him? What do you think about Ben going to YouTube University to show affection? What do you think about Stacia and Nate? Child, just what do you think? What did y'all think about Mitch, his thong sandals, that dirty refrigerator stove tub combination, and Kristen with the Y presenting him with coochie coupons? Y'all comment down below. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.